need to listen to your atmosphere, what is around you, not necessarily people or influences, but more so you in tune with whatever you want to call your higher power or higher powers, whether they be out in nature, in the universe, or whether or not they believe they're in the earth or within. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you need to be by yourself, and that would be that. Sure.
Sometimes when I do this activity, I ask people to get up and walk around and get like a 360 view of it. If you feel comfortable doing that, please do. If not, you don't have to. What Zara did is exactly what I was hoping that she would do, which is construct meaning to what looks like just chairs folded over each other and give it a narrative, give it some life, you know? And I want to suggest that the next person who chooses to speak continue to do that. Sometimes walking through it, you know, and getting an up high view or down low view can change what your narrative is. So feel free to explore and experience what's going on.
Did you mean for that tape or whatever that is?
It was there. No,
okay.
That was not intentional.
I don't know. I don't really have a conclusion. I guess my immediate reaction was that, okay, at first I'm like, this is disconnected. I was looking at this. I didn't even realize that over there until you said something. I was like, oh, there's a chair over there. So I haven't really broken down what that may possibly mean or what the intention behind that was. But, you know, I see a set of headphones that are not plugged into a source from which it might be deriving information or sounds or something. So I don't know. My thinking about this is kind of like how I typically see these things used. So like, I was feeling like this was chaos at first because the chairs are not set up in ways that chairs are typically set up for people to sit in them. But then I also look at it closer and it's like, well, they are connected in ways that allow it to kind of build this, whatever this, you know, structure is.
What do you think it is? What could it be?
I mean, my immediate reaction is, oh, this is chaos. These things are kind of put together, but then it looks more intentional, like how it's kind of stacked. So it could kind of be something around like integratedness, community, codependency. I'm not sure. And the headphones upside down and not connected to a source. Again, how I usually see, you know, headphones used. You know, if there was an iPod on the end or something else, maybe it, you know, and then the fact that it's upside down, it just kind of translated immediately for me that something is out of whack here. But then when I was reconsidering the chairs, I was also reconsidering the headphones. So I didn't really draw a conclusion around that, but yeah, that was something that I noticed at first. And now that I see this chair over here, I'm not really sure what to make of, you know, what's going on, because this ain't got a set of headphones. It kind of reminds me of Child's Pose, you know, so that could be prayer and connectedness. Potentially this is chaos and, you know, codependence. I mean, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think it could be, I'm considering the different ways it could be read. I don't know if I have a strong opinion for like, well, this is what I think.
Well, it's all for conversation. I think you can offer your ideas without saying, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Or at least I don't feel strongly towards a particular thing,
but you intuitively have a narrative that you're able to attach to this.
My original, how do you say, visceral reaction was that this was a little chaotic, though codependent. You know, and sitting on the train and people with the headphones and the loud music, it's just really noisy and quite frankly annoying. It really bothers me when I'm trying to read a book or just get some quiet time on the train. I don't know why.
Is that possible?
I know. It's like, why am I trying to get quiet time on the train? But chair, so it could, something about this is in conversation with one another. Now, whether or not it's having a good impact or not, trying not to say what you told me not to say, but yeah. So that's kind of what I offer up, or my observations. I don't really have. I don't know if I have any strong.
Teetering on the edge of something, and in the delicate balance is what keeps popping up to me. The fact that these chairs are not tipping over, but it also looks like, but they're not, but it also looks like they're broken. But it's just these headphones dangling on the edge, the chairs dangling on the edge of each other, but even though there's this teetering, everything could fall over, but it's not, because it's in this delicate balance. Whether that's positive or negative, I don't know. The relationship to, well, I don't know. The relationship to this chair hasn't spoken to me just yet, because I was immediately drawn to these headphones that are dangling and aren't even moving. Yes, you can. But yeah, teetering and delicate balance is what are the two things that really pop out to me.
I'm going to throw something else into the mix for us to consider. If we were to say that this structure helps us to in some way consider the relationship between power and spirituality, creativity and power, would that help you in, or does it matter? Does that help you to see something that possibly you didn't see before? Yes.
I think it does. It makes you look at things abstractly. So there are things that, when you think of spirituality and you think of power, sometimes you have to think beyond what is possibly human, capable of seeing or understanding. So as some things that you might see or you might feel, like intuition, you're like, oh, I know, I can feel that. Like, I know something's about to happen. I don't know where I got that feeling from, but I know. It could be good or bad, but you just know. You have this feeling. Somebody walk past you like, ooh, I'm not feeling that vibe. You can't explain it, but it's like going beyond you. Like, you got to go beyond your thoughts or what is, quote unquote, human. The human feeling, the human, like, the happies, the sads, or whatever. You have to go beyond that. When you go beyond that, it becomes abstract, and then you can start seeing things kind of like leaving the matrix per se. And you can like bend, you know how Avatar, where they start bending things, but it's that whole mentality when you just start seeing things and you don't even compare to things that are very what do you call it? Just very everyday structural things, like rigidness. It's not rigid. It's very fluid. Very nothing's rigid, so it won't be. I see that building in that way. I might see it in a totally different light. I might look at it in a totally different view. And once you see it that way, it's like when some people look at the pyramids in Egypt and they see the pyramids. Oh, there's just tombs. And then you go beyond, you're like, oh wait, they were a compass. Oh wait, they were directly aligned with the stars and at certain points. So when you start going beyond, they were just tombs, and you start looking at them abstractly, they don't look like the regular quote unquote pyramid. Yeah, you start seeing them in totally different light.
Functional.
Yeah, and they're functional. I mean, and then you become one with everything around you versus being stagnated and just kind of like I said, being that matrix. You kind of like go beyond it's esoteric in a way, in the thought.
I think the complexities of what is all around us, you know, whereas
But the
it's not.
complexity ideally what I'm saying is complexity becomes very simple.
Mhm.
So what you think is complex will automatically over time become very simple.
And useful.
Yeah. And you won't see it as being complex. You start seeing the things that people might say, oh, what does that mean? To being, okay, that whole thing. It's like a change of paradigm.
Mm.
And I guess you mean complex in terms of like the layers of what it is. Like just in you saying, you mentioned the pyramids and how it's, you know, relationship to the stars and seeing like, oh, it is more than just this tomb. It is all of this.
Mainstream culture and how it's jumbled up, and I feel like people think alike in a sense. The chaos maybe represents ignorance in a way, and how people they tend to like stray away from like their inner voice. So I felt like that chair was like someone who's sort of like dragging along. And this chair was over here. Though it stands alone, it doesn't do like any other objects to like keep it solid. Yeah, and I felt like it represented someone who was like disconnected from their way of thinking. So that's
The turning around of these.
Yeah, just the thing
You
on.
can take it off. I don't.
So the picture you're creating, again, is a picture that makes sense for you as a community of chairs and bodies, and people and women and blood and flesh and bone and steel and plastic and wood. To consider what does spiritual power look like for you. Create a picture. It would be good if you're in the picture, if you feel like you're a part of the answer to that. That's all I have to say.
My first initial thought was a circle. I saw like a circle of life and elements. There's like a cycle.
Thought about circles. Also thought about stacking them, even standing up. I was also thinking about two chairs facing each other and a third across. I don't know, keeping about like balance, reciprocity, sharing, doing things together.
You think of flesh between like inanimate object, and that kind of alteration, interaction.
What does that mean, Deirdre?
I'm not sure. It's just something when it's like, oh, we should be a part of the whatever it is that we create.
So like take off a piece
So
of...
whether it's like, I don't know, you know, and then like legs on top of here, you know, I don't know. But
Well, we know that these things come off.
right.
hope that doesn't break my earphones.
If it does, I'm gonna pay for it. Well, consider that it's in there.
I like that you made a choice though. What is this saying?
I see the two chairs at the bottom. Mine is of that. Supposed to represent how people work together. You know what I'm saying? The interconnectedness of like people in general, and now that the chair is on top of it, to me, I think it represents like foundation. So then it made me think of like our ancestors, which is like foundation of our spirit.
Yeah, I see interconnectedness and connectedness to something. Yeah, foundation, something grounding, something grounded, something rooted within us, and an outward expression of that, a sharing of it.
I had turned the thing upside down because I was thinking about balance, like yin and yang. Not that opposites need to always complement, but just being able to find that which balances you. And it was really bothering me that the headphones were not connected to something. Like it really, yeah. So the first thing I could think of was water, and I'm a water sign, so you know water resonates with me. So it represents things like my emotions and connection to like my intuitiveness. So I thought like the headphones are kind of like a tuning in, you know. Yeah.
I've seen it as, again, I do agree of it being a groundedness. The bottom, I did see it as like an ancestral thing, just standing on top of my ancestors, because they ground me. And when I saw this over here, I saw it as like a link to another family, and they're balanced, but it's like another family, but I'm connected to them in all types of aspects. Primarily, they're just there for, especially for listening and for me to grab information from, so to learn from. And then when I saw the water put here, it's again it's just the source of life. And so you give, when you pour libations and you reverence the ancestors, you use water, some people use water, and so just having that entity within yourself is just a reminder. And then also for myself, we all of us, we need that water too to survive. So it's like both. So to have it over here is like that, but it's all connected together.